to the 23rd episode of Under the Radar. I am very pleased to be back. I have now gotten back into covering smaller bands. In this episode, I kind of want to focus as an artist and just, on reinvention 101, just kind of reimagining and reshaping and just revamping everything you've done and recreating yourself, because that was what I did in 2002. So 2001, I spent recording the Columbus Conspiracy EP, my first EP with Midwest Blue. And like I had said in episode 10, Y Intercept, their EP just really made me go, wow, what am I doing? This is garbage. And same with, a few of the other releases that I covered as well that helped push me. A lot of the releases helped push me that I've covered so far to make something better in that scene. So immediately in 2002, early 2002, even though our EP came out, I think in like March or April of 2002, I had already begun writing, another full length. I wanted to do a full record, and I wanted to go into a good studio. So, like I'd said, I think it was episode 7, I covered the Color Blues 7-inch, and that was what was so impactful in making me decide that I wanted to record with Craig Baker at Digital Audio Designs in Island Lake, because the Color Blue had released that 7-inch on Bean City Music. The quality was really good, and they had landed themselves on Deep Elm's The Emo Diaries Volume 8 with one of those songs, and it was like, okay, well, this guy's like a little bit more expensive. I think he was like $15 an hour more than, the previous studio that I went to, but the quality was a definite upgrade. So I met with Craig Baker in the studio, and I got to hear some of the new material by the Color Blue, which later they would release as Took to the Sea. But when I heard those songs that they were working on and the quality, I was like, okay, Craig's our man. So I knew I had to upgrade the quality and I had to spend more money. Hot Rod Circuit's Sorry About Tomorrow on Vagrant was one of the references that I handed Craig Baker, and I was like, this quality, it's a very poppy record. I'm sure I handed him things like Jimmy Eat World's, Clarity and Bleed American, and Further Seems Forever's The Moon Is Down, as references of kind of the general sound and quality that I was hoping to come out with when doing this record. So yes, this episode I will be covering our 2003 release, Midwest Blues Remembering to Forget. It was released in 2003, though we recorded it in summer of 2002, and it was finished by the end of the summer for sure. And so it took a long time to kind of figure out, and get like a label to release it. I almost wish we would have released it a little bit earlier. But yeah, this was recorded before any of the bands in our scene released anything on any other labels. Like Knockout was the big one at the time. They were about to drop a record on Fearless Records, so we hadn't even heard that. I think they were probably tracking that record at the same time we were tracking this. They were tracking with Sean O'Keefe. This was the record for me that started to actually get movement out of my band and get fans and get on good bills and play good venues like the Metro and Fireside Bowl and stuff like that in Chicago. So before releasing this record, we put together these samplers of 3 tracks that we went and handed out at Warped Tour 2002. And the first song on here was called Cycle 101.
Was I the one who let you down? Was I the one who took it all? Don't bother me for sympathy. I know you'll drag me in again. Cycle 101. It gets me every time, and you're gone again. No reason to pretend. Is it safe to say it's over? And it's gone again. No room to comprehend. If it's done, then give me closure.
Now instantly, if you had listened to the EP, you can tell a significant difference in recording quality, performance, songwriting, style. There's a little bit more pop punk influence in this song, as well as the next song, Focused on Tomorrow. Now again, I was in the studio trying to hone more in on my vocals. Like I was really, really bummed out about my performance on that EP, and I really wanted to step up my game. So again, like bands like The Stereo, Hey Mercedes, like these bands that I've covered, there was moments where you can hear where I'm got a little bit of that like whininess of the emo-ness to it, but then I'm also kind of singing more from the diaphragm. Again, just kind of trying to find my voice and combine all the elements of what I really liked into this style. The third song on the sampler was a song called Jameson.
So many nights you lie awake with tears of loss and thoughts you hate. You try to forget, but it's not working. Lately I can't with the sound of your fist crashing to the ground. But if by chance your eyes may wake, please realize it's his mistake. And when he laughs and shouts at you with no reflections of the truth, I know you won't know what to say. Believe me, dear, you'll get away, away.
2002, that was the year that Drive-Thru Records had their like Invasion stage, their own stage at Warped Tour, and all their bands were releasing records at the time and blowing up. And so I had to, first of all, I had to sneak these samplers in. So I had my cousin sneak 200 of these in a big tampon box in her backpack that the security guard didn't seem to check. So thankful to my cousin Amy for being a part of that. But yeah, that we started handing these to every band that we thought that would maybe dig it or that were like similar style, that were up and coming, and then handed it to anybody wearing like a shirt of a band that we thought that they might like our style. And we ended up getting an email back from only one person, but it was cool that we got that one moment. Josh Partington from the band Something Corporate hit us back and wanted to hear the whole record, and said that he was interested in putting out the whole record on his new label that he was forming called Random Play Music. So sent out the record to him, and he basically just wrote back, I really like those 3 songs. Keep working at it. Record some new stuff and send it to me when you have it. So it didn't work out with Josh Partington, but Post 436 did get a sampler that we handed out much later. I think we played 94.7 FM The Zone's Next Big Thing contest at Hard Rock Cafe, and we had some extra samplers, and I know I went to the Metro with the extra samplers and handed them out, and I just so happened to meet a guy that was there from Florida. I think we were watching Hey Mercedes. He took a liking to the sampler and emailed me back when he got to Florida and said he wanted to put out the whole record. So we ended up just going with Post 436, and it took some time, but I think we got this out in June of 2003. Post 436 Records hired the Planetary Group for all their publicity and PR. They sent out a bunch of our records to various publications for review. One of my favorite reviews was from Independent Clauses. I don't know the reviewer's name, but I'm just going to read some of his quotes here. He said, "This band Midwest Blue comes out of Chicago. On first glance, it would be simple to pass them off as just another pop-punk nuisance. But while that may be the immediate impression, if you listen on, you will find that Midwest Blue is really a roots emo band. Remembering to Forget opens up with 4 pop-punk songs. I heard them and groaned because," and he went on, that he was going to condemn the record until track 5 rolled around. He said the record did a complete 180 at track 5, which is the song Ignorance.
Ignorance never ceases. Amaze me. Amazing.
He also went on to say, "Ignorance is the best song of the genre I've heard since Anne Boleyn's Ready Fuels." Basically, he said tracks 5 through 11 were beautiful and creative. I really appreciate that because Dancing on Ice is an acoustic kind of like ballady song, and that was one of my favorites on the record as well.
Dancing on ice will suffice. There is a price you must sacrifice.
So back to the review, this guy also said that he loved Berlin, which is our closer on the record. If you were to listen to the entire track Berlin, it is kind of a wild ride. We kind of tried to emulate like Goodbye Sky Harbor to a degree on Jimmy Eat World's Clarity, the closing track. There's like, it morphs into like electronic drums and there's violins and piano and just it kind of is all over the place. Kind of a cool song. I still do enjoy listening to that song. He said that this album is so diverse that it borders on too diverse. If they had not written the first 4 songs, this would be my favorite album right now. You should get this album, even if you don't like punk. It's not really punk anyway. That's just what they want you to think. That's great. That was probably one of the more favorable reviews overall. Eric Wilson of openingbands.com said, "What if Nathan Gray of Boy Sets Fire sang songs by Saves the Day, circa Stay What You Are, and Third Eye Blind? Well, you get a pretty good idea of what Midwest Blues album Remembering to Forget sounds like." And then Steve Sobel, also of Opening Bands, reviewed the record as well. He said, "As the album presses forward, some tracks are oddly reminiscent of All's Pummel. There's a hard edge on these songs, despite their poppiness, that makes the disc more interesting to hear." I guess the winning takeaway from this record is that I did accomplish what I set out to do vocally. I reinvented myself, and a lot of the reviews, I think all of them, talked about my strong vocals and that they were unique and there was a presence, and so that was a really redemptive quality. However, lyrically, pretty much what they had to say was that my lyricism was weak and cliche. Remembering to Forget by Midwest Blue, you can find it on Amazon, Discogs, I think. There were only 1,000 of these pressed, so there's not a whole lot of them out there. But feel free to look that up if you're interested in it. So yeah. In other news, I've just been working on the Red Tape. I've been working on this rad Prince cover that I recently posted a little video of before this episode. You can check that out if you want. Other than that, I'm just going to keep grinding on that, filming music videos. Again, I appreciate everybody and their feedback on Never Greener. Continue to add that to playlists and spread the word on Slave to Servant on Spotify. So I will have a new episode for you shortly, and thanks for your time.